Hello and welcome to another edition of Guinea Pigs with Greg. This video is another breed and focus video all about the Self Lilac Cavie. The English Self Cavie Club is the specialist cavie club in the UK that caters for all the different colours of self. And what we mean by English Self is any cavie that is a solid single colour, short-haired and adheres to the standard which we'll go through later. So as you can see, the lilac is all of one colour, is of a medium dove grey, and it's got something about it. It's one of the breeds that I've kept for many years. So that medium dove grey colour with no suggestion of beige. The eyes need to be pink, the ears need to be pink or lilac, and the pads also need to be pink and lilac. And that pigment is very important. There's also a guidance note in standard saying that young lilacs will be a lot darker. And like with all selfs, the standard requires the cavie to have a broad Roman nose and have a good body shape. There's lots of points for the eye and the ear, and it's a cavie of type, so we're looking to get the best type we can. You can see the colour on the lilac should carry all the way down to the skin, because colours are very important in a self cavie. A nice even top colour carrying all the way down, giving a nice balanced appearance, which is something that is very achievable in this colour of self. And quite often they do very well at shows and they're much admired. Some of the class numbers recently are heading into the double figures again, which is very, very promising for this colour of self. So a self black is the same genetically as a lilac, the only difference being the eye colour. And when the pink eye gene is in effect, it dilutes the colour of the black to lilac, and it also dilutes the pigment to make it lighter as well. So the self black and the lilac are almost genetically identical, and it has been known in the past for people to use the self black to enhance the breeding with the self lilacs, but that's not necessary because lilacs breed true lilac to lilac, and that's probably the best way to produce more show quality lilacs. So one of the things that lilacs suffer with occasionally is that the top colour and the coat can be a little bit patchy or uneven. As you can see from here, there are bands going through the middle of slightly different shades of lilac, and the same around the face. And whilst the cavie itself looks very balanced and even, the colour is quite patchy. And you can see on this cavie here, for example, around the nose, it almost looks like a completely different colour, and around the eyes. And this is a common fault in this breed, and it's something that I know that the dedicated breeders are working very hard to remove. Another fault are eye circles and lighter patches. You can see on this one, it's got a slightly lighter patch around the nostrils and around the eyes. But it doesn't take away from the fact that the cavie is very well balanced, and they are very nice cavies indeed. But they're just little things for people to look out for when starting this breed, and they know they are a work in progress. Unlike a black or a white-coated cavie, the lilac has a range in its colour spectrum. So they can go from being fairly light as they get older and much darker when they're younger. And so there's a range of colour that's acceptable on the show table. But we're looking for that medium dove grey ideally. On the show bench, the lilac is very successful and is increasing in popularity, with many large classes of quality cavies on display. These are some of the lilacs I judged at the recent show at Wiltshire Cavie Club. And as you can see, I was very impressed, so I took some images of them. They're lovely balanced cavies with bold eyes, lovely ear placement. And here you can see a great group of adults. All of them have some amazing attributes that I thought I'd like to share with you all. When assessing your lilacs for colour, it's important to have the right light. I find natural daylight is the best way of making a decent colour assessment. So quite often it shows I will take the cavie outside or near a window to make the correct assessment of the colour. That's quite often in show halls. They are usually quite dark, or under a tented show you have mottled light, which gives a patchy effect even though the coat is not patchy. So it's very important to give a fair assessment of the cavie so you can get a true idea of what the colour is actually like. So quite often people think the Slate is a dark-eyed version of the Lilac, which we established earlier is not correct. There are a few differences between these two colours of self. The Slate is a lot darker. It has ruby eyes, and the pigment of the ear matches the colour of the coat, so it's a lot darker as well. As you can see, the Lilac on the right has pink ears, red eyes, and the coat colour is a lot lighter than that of a Slate. These two breeds should never be crossed together in an effort to improve one or the other, as they are genetically very, very different. As I said before, the Lilac is a dilute version of a self black, whereas the Slate is not. So please do not cross these two breeds. So here we have 3 lilacs on the show bench. On the left we have the under 5 month, in the middle we have the 5 to 8 month, and on the right we have the adult. So you can see how the heads develop as they get older, and the one on the right, the head's really filled out from the jowl, and we call that the head blowing, so it's really filling out to its full potential. And it's nice to see how they change. I mean, it's quite even and balanced. Lilacs breed true, so you pair up one lilac to another and you get lilac babies. Those lilac babies are going to be very dark lilac, so don't be worried when they come out looking very, very slate coloured. That lightens up as they molt out at about 3 months old, and then they change again as they get older. They continue to progressively get lighter. That's not always the case, but it seems to be the norm when speaking to a lot of the top lilac breeders in the country. So yeah, do not be alarmed when your baby lilacs are a lot darker than their parents. You've done nothing wrong. And here you can see one of our naughty little lilacs constantly running around, but you can see how dark it is compared to the adults in the videos that I was showing earlier. And as mentioned, the cavie molts out into its adult colours from around 3 months, and then they will progressively get lighter as they reach adulthood. So you should see a lovely change in your lilacs as they grow on. And good breeding stock is readily available across the UK. To find your local breeder, I would suggest joining the English Self Cavie Club and making contact with breeders there, or looking in the Cavies magazine and finding out who's successful and make contact with those breeders. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it somewhat useful. Feel free to post pictures of your lilacs on the Facebook group. Until next time, I'm Guinea Greg. Cheerio.